In this video, I'm going to give you secrets to the universe drawn out in ways that literally a kindergartner could understand it. Now, I wanted to make this video with visual representation so you guys could really grasp this concept, but I am going to give you the exact same knowledge that I have learned over my 3-year entrepreneurial journey where I've made almost $2 million at 20 years old for free because I'm a nice guy and I want to see you guys win. So you clicked on this video because you're ambitious and you want to know how to achieve anything in life. Well, luckily, you came to the right place. So, how to achieve anything? As you can see here, we got the fast cars, we got the money. This is what you want, right? Now, before I get into this, you need to be ready to listen to this video with an open mind. There's going to be some beliefs, some things that you may not believe in, but I want you to really listen to these things because I know for a fact that they are true, they have worked for me, and if you apply them with open arms into your life, they will help you achieve anything you want. So, put your AirPods in, put a hoodie on, go on D&D, sit here for 15, 20, 30 minutes. I don't know how long this video is going to be because it could genuinely change your life because this concept changed mine. So, how to achieve anything. The wrong way is through hard work. Now, this is a little bit clickbaity. That's why I wrote alone in parentheses, but hard work alone will not make you rich. Why? Because if that was true, this right here, which is a beautiful construction cap, it may not look that way, but that's what it's supposed to be, that person would be rich. But in reality, construction workers don't have a lot of money. I'm not hating on construction workers. My grandfather owned a construction company. I think it's great for the world. But if we're talking about getting rich, you are not going to get rich that way as a construction worker. But the person right here will be rich. And what does this orange stuff around him represent? It represents vibration and energy. This is a high vibrational individual who understands what I'm about to tell them in this video, and that person will be rich. So hard work alone will not make you rich. You need to work hard, which I'll get into later in this video, but you need to understand these concepts. So this is the key. The key to achieving anything you want is to be now. If you can be now, act now, like you've already achieved everything you've already achieved, like if you can act like that, you can look in the future, say, I want this, this, and this, and be like, okay, how would I feel once I got these things? You linger in that feeling and you act like that now. That is the key to life. That is the key to success. And that is how you will attract and become every single thing you want to become. So the key is to be now. Now, us people, this person right here, we are energy and vibration. This is what all this represents. Every single thing is moving, nothing is resting. We have energy. We are vibration. We are moving objects and other things, everything in the universe, success, that car you want, the money you want, the type of person you want to become, everything is happening at once and everything is vibrating. So basically, in a dummy's way of terms to explain this, if you are vibrating on the same frequency as the person you want to become, as the things you want, that is when you will get them and you will basically be able to collapse time in order to get those things extremely quickly. I went from 0 to 150,000 a month in 9 months. Not owning a business to 150K a month in 9 months because I collapsed time using these concepts. I basically matched my vibration and my energy to the person I was trying to become extremely quickly, and that's why I was successful extremely quickly. So the higher energy you are, the higher vibrational state you are in, the more money you will make. It really is that simple. So why? Your brain isn't just something that gives you thoughts. Your brain is much more powerful than us as humans, including myself, can even comprehend. But what I'm going to talk about in this video is that your brain is your eyes. Your brain is the lens that you see the world through, which leads to your reality. So you think that you're seeing the same thing as everybody else, but you're not. And the way to prove this is if I told you I would give you $1,000 if you could spot out the next 5 red cars. If we were on the street, you'd say boom, 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 5 red cars like that, and I'd pay you. But if the other person had the same task, but they didn't know they were supposed to look for the red cars, they wouldn't see the red cars. Why? Because their brain, the lens that they see reality through, isn't focusing on that. So whatever you focus on, your brain will identify and bring to light. If you're focusing on being rich, if you're focusing on, achieving whatever you want to achieve, opportunities for that thing will be represented to you because your brain is seeing that that reality in real time. But if you're focused on the negative, if you're focused on losing, your brain will basically give you more opportunities to continue to be that person, because you don't attract what you deserve. You don't attract anything based on how hard you work. You attract what you are. So if you are in a high vibrational state, if you're focused on being rich, if you're feeling good, you will attract opportunities to become rich, and vice versa. If you're focused on losing, if you're in a constant state of fear, that will own you, and your brain will continue to make you that person until you have a paradigm shift. So your brain is the lens you see the world through, and it is the most powerful thing that you need to master. It's not about how hard you work. It's not about your discipline. Even though those things go into being rich, if you can master your mind, you can achieve anything you want in this planet. So there are two people here. Person number one, person number two. I know the stick figures are, very good. This person is sad. This person is happy. Why is person one sad? Because he believes, this is what he's thinking, I should have made these thought bubbles, that money is hard to make. Person number two, he's happy because he believes in his head that money is easy to make. If you grew up in a poor family, I didn't grow up in a poor family, but I grew up in literally middle class. So my mom, on one hand, she thought money was pretty hard to make. And so did my grandfather, so did my dad. He thought money was hard to make. Why? Because they've worked hard for money their entire life. So obviously that's what you're going to think. But when I started to make a little bit of money, when I started to get into this online space and, basically study other successful people, I realized a thread amongst all successful people. Everyone who is rich thinks money is easy to make. They think this is easy. I think business is easy. I think getting paid is easy. Why? Because I've positioned myself in a way where I can make money without having to do a lot of work. So both of these people, like it says right here, are correct. If you think money is hard to make, money's going to be hard to make. If you think money is easy to make, guess what? Money is going to be easy to make. So whatever you believe becomes true. Now, to go into the next portion of this video, this is a little bit separate, but it all ties together. You need to focus on input over output. What do I mean by that? Input, say you want to get strong in the gym, right? The input is lifting the weights and eating clean. The output is a physique with a six-pack, the end goal. Same with business. The output is the money. The input is those sleepless nights, putting the work in, actually building the business. So the key is to focus on the input, the work, the process of getting there, instead of the output. Why? This is person number one, who I just showed you guys before, the person who believes money is hard to make, and he is in a constant loop, just like this, never getting to the money, the end goal. Why? Because along this whole process, since he believes money is hard to make, he is suffering. That's why there's a sad emoji right here. He doesn't enjoy the process. He's not in a high vibrational state. Why? Because he's looking at that end goal and he's saying, oh, I'll be rich, or I'll be happy once I'm rich. I'll be happy once I have this, once I have that. And in the meantime, until he gets to that goal, he's telling himself that he will never be happy, right? You're only going to feel good once you get this. Us as humans, we are suspect to this all the time. We always say, oh, if I only had this, if I only had that. Especially with social media, it's super easy to get caught in this loop. But if you do that, you will constantly be caught in a loop of straight up failure. Why? Because you are never in the same vibrational state as what you're trying to achieve. You're constantly not happy because you haven't got the money yet, and you're never going to get the money if you're not happy. So you can't do that. That's why this person right here, the person who believes money is easy to make, he is going to go right through and get rich. Why? Because along this whole process, the journey, or you could call it the grind if you want to call it that, he is happy. He is looking at being rich as something he wants. He knows he wants to be rich. Everyone does. But he is enjoying the journey. He's focusing on the input over the output. He understands that if he works and he puts this time into this business, it will succeed. He's confident in himself. So he enjoys the journey. He's in a high vibrational state the whole way. And that is why he's not stuck in this constant loop of failure. Instead, he actually succeeds and gets to where he wants to go. So this is the most dumbed down version of this I could possibly draw. It's super simple, but it's 100% true. You need to focus on the input, not the output, because when you're starting in business, if you're constantly judging yourself on how much money you're making, guess what? You're not making any money at the start, so you're going to be in a constant loop of failure. Instead, be like, yeah, it's going to take me a while to get to this goal, but I'm going to enjoy the process, and I'm going to feel good about myself if I'm putting the work in. So, next portion. Your brain, this beautiful drawing right here of a brain, looks super realistic, aka your subconscious mind, determines how much money you're going to make, determines your success. So the lens you see the world through, your brain, aka your mindset, will determine how much money you make. So if your brain is negative, you are going to be broke. If your brain is positive, you are going to make a lot of money. It really is this simple. For you guys who have read The Secret, the book about the law of attraction, or As a Man Thinketh, another great book about all of this stuff about attracting success, it literally states in the book, good thoughts lead to good fruit, bad thoughts lead to bad fruit. It really is that simple. If you're thinking positively and you're not rooted in fear, you're rooted in confidence, and self-delusion, you will succeed. But if you're rooted in fear, if maybe you're working hard, but you know deep down, I don't think I can do this, I don't think I can do this, then guess what? You are going to fail. So you need to be positive by focusing on the input, and you can't be negative. Every time you let a negative thought creep into your mind, which they will come, you need to get that out ASAP, because if you don't, it will lead to your destruction. So how do you control your brain? This is the key to all success. How do you do it? You have to command it to win. Most people think their thoughts and their brain controls them. It doesn't. You control your brain. You can think anything in the world right now. I could tell you to think of a unicorn dancing on top of a bowl of Fruity Pebbles. Guess what? That's in your head right now. You can imagine whatever you want. You can imagine a version of you that's confident. You can imagine a version of you that's successful. You can imagine a version of you that's laying on the street. You could be afraid of being homeless. Whatever you want to think about, you can do it. So you have to command it to win. How do you command your brain to win? You are in a high vibrational state. That's what all of this represents. Now, I'm going to tell you how to get into a high vibrational state. I know a lot of you guys, you may suffer with depression. You may suffer with all these things, right? Anxiety. You may think in the back of your head, like, you know what? I don't know if this is going to work out. I don't know if I can be successful. You may think all these negative thoughts, but you need to get into a high vibrational state, because every time those negative thoughts come in, it is going to be worse things coming to your life. It is going to be bad things attracted to you, because that's what's in your subconscious, and vice versa. Like I said, if you're having positive thoughts, you're confident in yourself, you will attract a good life. So this is person one's daily schedule, right? I know this may be a little bit hard to see, but basically this at the end of the day here, the bed, this represents the end of the day. So this is someone's daily schedule. Say you wake up, right? You hit the gym, you work out, boom, that's done, check mark. Then this computer represents your business. You go to the gym, you get home, you're disciplined, you're working on your business. Next, you eat healthy. We got some broccoli right here, we got some steak right here, boom. Now you've worked on your business, you've worked out, you've eaten a healthy meal. Next, you make some money, again, just working on your business. Then you go to bed. Guess what? You are going to be in a high vibrational state. Why? Because you've adopted the mindset I told you, and you judge yourself based on the input, not the output. This is how I got rich. I was not focused on being rich. If you want to be rich, you will be poor. That's not completely true. That was a little too binary. But if you only care about being rich, you will be poor. Why? Because you're never going to enjoy the journey if you only care about being rich. The people who get rich, yes, they want to be rich, but they care about the pursuit of being rich. They take pride in their work. They enjoy the journey. So this will leave you in a high vibrational state. And if you want to get out of this stuff that you may think is airy-fairy, if you're religious, I'm religious myself. We are all made in the image of God. It says it in the Bible. Who is God? He is the ultimate creator. So when do we feel the most godlike? When do we feel the best as men? When we are creating something, when we are building a better life for ourselves, when we are on a mission. This is why all the retired athletes, all the retired superstars who have a ton of money are super depressed. Why? Because they don't have another mountain to climb. They're not going towards a goal. Us as men, we were always meant to go towards a goal. There's a reason you always feel good after you're done with a hard workout. There's a reason you feel good after you finally finish that homework you've been putting on. Why? Because you're going towards something. You did action. So if you have a routine like this, where you're hitting the gym, you're working on your business, you're eating healthy, you're working on your business again, you're going to sleep, you are going to feel good. And when you're in a high vibrational state, you will attract money and success. So this is vice versa. This is the other person. Wakes up. You guys already know what this representation is with the lotion. Don't want to do that. Next, play video games. You get on Xbox, right? Who cares? 30 minutes turns into 4 hours. Well, you're just a kid. You can enjoy it, right? Oh, you're in college, so why not go drink alcohol, smoke some weed? You're just having fun, enjoying your youth, right? Well, you're going to go to bed. You have the same 24 hours in the day, but you are going to be in a low vibrational state, and you are not going to attract success. You are on a down tilt. You are on the negative. This is why all these people who get addicted to drugs and alcohol, they usually don't make more money from that. Why? Because it is self-destruction. It is spiritual destruction. You are literally destroying your inner self and your vibration, which makes you not attract success and makes you attract a bad life for yourself. So back to input over output. Hopefully you guys understand this by now. You need to focus on the work, not your goals, because if you are proud of yourself and you feel good about yourself after you have a hard day's work, you may not have made 10 grand that day. You may not make 100 grand a month, but you put the work in. You woke up, you went to the gym, you worked on your business, you ate healthy, you completed your list of tasks that you knew you had to do. If you do that, you will feel good about yourself and you will be in a high vibrational state attracting success. But if you're so fixated on the goal, if you're so fixated on the output, then it won't matter how hard you work. You'll still be negative. You'll still look like this guy right here, and you will lose. So input over output, put the work in every day. And if you combine those things, this mindset of focusing on the input to get you in a high vibrational state and working hard with discipline, you're unstoppable. How did I get rich? I told you guys I went from nothing to 150K profit in 9 months. March of 2023, I had nothing. December of 2023, I was making 150K a month. How? Because I was in such a high vibrational state. Why? Because I was working every day. I was posting 4 videos a day in my sports content business. I'm not going to dive too deep into my business, but content is what makes it go. It's what makes me money. So I was disciplined. I posted 4 videos every single day, and I did not miss a day. And as soon as I finished those videos, even if I didn't want to, I knew I was getting closer to my goal. So I was happy. I was in a high vibrational state. And even though I wasn't getting results yet, I was proud of myself. I was in a high vibrational state. So input over output. These are 2 people who have no money, $0. But the person who is in a high vibrational state is happy that they have no money and is ready to enjoy the journey, compared to the person who is sad that they have no money. This person will be poor and this person will be rich. Why? Because the person who can somehow stay in a high vibrational state will attract success, because nothing can deter them from their goal, nothing can take away from their energy, and nothing will send them down a slippery slope of failure. You can look at things in multiple different ways. I've been trying to perfect this for the last few years, and the more I dive deeper into it, the better my life gets. If I get in a car crash, I'll be like, thank God. Maybe if I kept driving, I would have got T-boned and I would have literally got hit and sent to the hospital off that. But because I crashed before, it's way better off. Or if I don't know, maybe you lose your job, be like, good, I could have wasted so much time in my life in that job. Now God is going to open up more opportunities for me. The other person could be like, damn, I just crashed my car, get depressed, go smoke weed, I'm having a horrible day, and become just a mediocre person for the rest of their life. Or the other scenario, they lose their job, they get depressed, they start drinking more, they stop working out, they start eating junk food, they get fat, and they're just on a slippery slope of failure. You can look at everything through whatever lens you want. Your brain, which dictates reality, same situation, but the person who sees it through a lens with a positive mindset will succeed, and the person who sees it through a negative lens will not succeed. They will fail. It's funny because the OG, I'll draw it right here, the OG glass half full, glass half empty thing is so true, and us as kids would just look at it and be like, oh, Mom, why are you saying that the glass is half full? It's easy to be negative, right? But when you look at things like this, it really does pay to be an overly positive person. So to get into the next point, the person with high vibration, like I just said, will win. So if you are thinking about money and you act rich now, right? Like I've been saying, you're thinking about you getting rich. You think about that feeling. You can see the mansion. You can see the cars. You can feel how you would feel once you make money. How would you walk? How would you dress? How charismatic would you be? And you act like that right now. Doesn't matter if you have negative money in your bank account. You're moving like you have 10 million in the bank. You will collapse time. You will literally collapse time. Why? Because you are here. Your vibration of what you want, the rich, right? The richness that you want is up here. You will collapse time and be on that same level. You will be acting the same as what you want. You will be on the same vibrational level, and then you will meet. This gap right here is the time. Why? Because your mindset is saying that you're poor. You're believing that you're poor, and what you want is basically richness, right? You want to have the cars, you want to have the money, all this stuff. There is a gap here. But as soon as you start acting like you already have the money and the cars, whatever you want, you literally collapse time and you will achieve it extremely quickly. Your brain, like we already went over, which identifies your reality, will give you opportunities to get exactly what you want. So you will be able to literally collapse time, and your brain, like I just said, which is your eyes, what your lens through you. Sorry, I can't talk. It's been like 20 minutes. But your brain, what you see the world through, the lens to see the world, your actual eyes, is going to identify opportunities for you, and you in a high vibrational state will become rich. So I'm going to slow down and do this again because I stuttered and I want you guys to get this concept. I'm going to go all the way back up. If you think about money, right? Think about yourself in your dream life. You know, you got 10 million in the bank. You've worked hard the past 5 years building your business. You know, you have everything you've ever wanted. You got a pretty girlfriend. You got the family. You're in a mansion. You got a McLaren. You got all these things. How would you feel? Now, you start acting rich. You start acting in that feeling right now. You start acting like it in your day-to-day life. You start acting like it. Then you will literally collapse time and attract those things extremely quickly because you are on the same vibrational plane, and your brain will identify opportunities. This is how you will actually get rich extremely quickly. Your brain will identify opportunities for you to get rich because that's the vibrational state you're on, and your vibration will attract everything you want and you will become rich. This is the key to the universe, the key to get rich. Every single thing you need to know about success is literally in this video. So to recap it, number one, you need to be now, like I just said, linger in that feeling of success. How would you act? How would you move? How would you feel? Number two, work hard, but focus on the input, not the output. If you have a good day, if you woke up, you went to the gym, you worked on your business, feel proud of yourself. Focus on that, because if you focus on that, those are the actions that it takes to get rich. You'll be in a high vibrational state and you will attract success. That's why number three, enjoy the journey, is the same thing as keeping a positive attitude. Focusing on right now, being your best self right now, acting like you've already achieved everything you've ever wanted right now, and that is how you will collapse time. So that is how to attract every single thing you want in this life, guys. Subscribe to the channel for more bangers like this. But if you want to learn exactly what I do, if you want to take everything I just told you and actually, have actionable steps on how to get rich with this formula, I teach exactly how to get rich from sports content. That's what's made me all my money. It's what's moved me to Miami in this place. It's got me my McLaren, my Aston Martin. It's gave me the whole lifestyle. I've made almost $2 million from this business. If you want to learn that, check out the free training that I linked below. It's going to give you a full 15-minute breakdown of what the business is, why you can do it, and why people like you are absolutely dominating with it. We had a guy, Fantasy Football Sav, in his first year last year, make $70K in a month. We got a bunch of success stories you can check out. But if you're interested in learning sports content, if you're serious about changing your life, check out the free training and apply to work with me below. Again, subscribe to the channel to see more content like this. All I do on this channel is spread every piece of knowledge I've learned going from 0 to a millionaire at 19 years old. I'm 20 now, a little bit older now, but that's when I hit those numbers. So I appreciate you guys watching. Subscribe to the channel, and I will see you in the next one.